Some stories stay with you forever. Here's one of them. Don't forget to like and subscribe. A little girl's innocent joy shattered a high-stakes business deal. Helena, just 8 years old, rushed down the grand staircase, wrapping her arms around the legs of Priscilla, the family's housekeeper. "Mommy!" she exclaimed, right in front of 3 serious-looking Japanese investors. "Will you help me with my homework later?" A tense silence fell over the room. The investors exchanged glances. Vinicius, the homeowner and Helena's father, paled with embarrassment, and Priscilla felt her world shrink. Then Cassandra, Vinicius's mother, stormed down the stairs. "Helena, what are you doing?" The little girl, oblivious to the drama, simply smiled up at Priscilla. "I'm talking to Mommy." Vinicius, his face flushed with mortification, exploded. "She's not your mother." The investors began murmuring among themselves, a multi-million-dollar deal slipping through their fingers. Cassandra arrived. At the bottom of the stairs, her expression a mix of fury and disgust. "Vinicius, this is unacceptable. What kind of household are you running?" Helena, still clinging to Priscilla, looked at her father with wide, confused eyes. "Daddy, why are you yelling at Mommy?" Vinicius, completely out of control, yelled even louder. "Because she's not your mother. How many times do I have to tell you?" One of the Japanese investors stood up, signaling the end of the meeting. "Mr. Tavares, perhaps it's best we return another day." The deal was lost. In a final act of rage, Vinicius turned to Priscilla. "Priscilla, you're fired. Get your things and get out of my house now." Helena began to cry. "No, Daddy. Mommy didn't do anything wrong." "She is not your mother," Vinicius screamed, his voice echoing through the opulent room. "She is a simple employee." Cassandra forcefully pulled Helena away from Priscilla. "Come here, my little girl. This woman has confused your mind." Helena struggled against her grandmother's grip. "No, I want to stay with Mommy Priscilla." Tears welled up in Priscilla's eyes, but she tried to reason with Vinicius. "Dr. Vinicius, I can explain. Helena has always called me that, and I always correct her." "I don't want to hear it," he interrupted, his voice sharp with finality. "You manipulated my daughter. You ruined my meeting. Get out of my house." Helena's cries grew more desperate as Cassandra dragged her up the stairs. "Mommy, don't go. I love you." These were the last words Helena would utter for a long time. Priscilla went to her small room in the back of the house to pack her belongings. Helena, having escaped her grandmother's grasp, ran after her. "Mommy, are you really leaving?" Priscilla knelt down to the girl's level, her heart breaking. "My love, your daddy doesn't want me to work here anymore. But can you come back to visit me?" Priscilla couldn't bring herself to lie. "I don't know." "Will you miss me, Helena? So much. You are very special to me." Helena wrapped her arms around Priscilla in a tight, final embrace. "I love you too, Mommy." As Priscilla walked away from the mansion, Helena ran to the window, shouting, "Mommy, come back, please!" Priscilla waved from a distance, tears streaming down her face as she walked away. Helena continued to cry out for what felt like an eternity, screaming, "Mommy, I love you, come back to me!" Then suddenly, she stopped. Total silence. Cassandra went upstairs and found Helena lying on her bed, staring blankly at the ceiling. "Helena, come down for dinner." No response. "Honey, Grandma is talking to you." Still nothing. Helena simply turned her back to her. Later that evening, Vinicius came to her room. "Helena, are you mad at Daddy?" Silence. "Honey, please talk to me." Helena remained with her back to him. "Helena, please." Not a single word. On the second day, Helena woke up, ate breakfast, and did not say a word. The third day was the same. Helena wouldn't even say goodie. Morning. Distraught, Vinicius called the pediatrician. "Dr. Maurice, my daughter has completely stopped speaking." "How long has this been happening?" 3 days. Ever since I fired an employee." At the doctor's office, Helena remained mute throughout the entire examination. Dr. Vinicius, physically she is perfect. So why won't she talk? Selective mutism, emotional trauma. She formed a strong bond with this person who left. But she was just a cleaner. To Helena she was not. Dr. Maurice showed Vinicius the drawings Helena had made in the office. They all depicted the same thing, a house with 3 people. She drew this over and over again. Vinicius looked at the drawings. A tall man, a woman and a child, always together. Back at home, Helena spent the entire day drawing. Sueli, the new nanny, showed Vinicius a stack of papers. "Sir, she's already made over 30 identical drawings. She hasn't said a word. She won't even ask for water. She just draws." That night, Vinicius tried to talk to her again. "Helena, Daddy is worried. Say something." Helena looked at him, but said nothing. "Do you want me to bring Priscilla back?" Helena's eyes lit up, but she remained silent. "Helena, please." She picked up a piece of paper and drew the 3 people together again, then showed it to him. "You want us to be a family?" Helena nodded her head, but no words came out. Vinicius left the room, his hands shaking with despair. "Mom, she's not getting any better. She barely eats," Cassandra sighed dramatically. "My son, Helena, might need to be institutionalized." Institutionalized? She's just a child, a traumatized child. "Perhaps she needs special care," Cassandra insisted. Vinicius was horrified. "No, I am not institutionalizing my daughter." "Then what are you going to do? She can't go on like this." For the first time, Vinicius had no answer. That night in the library, Cassandra spoke in hushed tones with Rogerio, the family's lawyer. Helena, having crept out of her room, was secretly listening from behind the half-closed door. "This situation is getting complicated, Rogerio." "Helena will get over it, Mrs. Cassandra." "It's not just Helena. Vinicius is thinking of bringing that woman back." "The cleaner?" "Yes. He's desperate." Helena, from her hiding spot, heard the name Mommy Priscilla and listened more closely. "What's the problem with that?" Cassandra stood up, agitated. "My daughter died 4 years ago. Helena is all I have left. I can't let another woman take her place." "But Mrs. Cassandra, if he remarries, I'll lose Helena too." Helena didn't understand the word remarry, but she knew that her grandma did not want her mommy to come back. "And what about the money in Helena's account?" "It's safely hidden. She'll thank me for it when she grows up." "What if Vinicius finds out?" "He won't. He trusts you completely." Rogerio, looking nervous, asked, "What if he brings the woman back anyway?" Cassandra walked to a cabinet and pulled out a small box. "I have a solution." She opened the box to reveal a collection of sparkling jewels. "These were my daughter's. If that woman returns, these jewels will appear in her room, and you will call the police." Helena heard the word police and was immediately scared. She didn't know exactly what it meant, but she knew it was a bad thing. "Mrs. Cassandra, this is dangerous. It's necessary. My granddaughter cannot call a cleaner mom." Helena saw Uncle Rogerio nod in agreement, and she raced back to her room. She wanted to tell her daddy, but the words wouldn't come out. Since her mommy had left, it was as if her voice had disappeared along with her. She grabbed a pencil and paper, trying to draw danger, but how could she? How could she show that Grandma and Uncle Rogerio were going to do something bad to her mommy? Helena stayed up late, drawing in a panic. She knew something terrible was going to happen, but she couldn't warn anyone. Her voice was trapped inside her chest, waiting for the right moment to break free and save the woman she loved like a mother. A week passed. Helena remained silent. Vinicius was at his wits' end. He drove to the suburban neighborhood where Priscilla lived. The houses were small, children played in the streets. When his BMW pulled up, neighbors stared curiously. Vinicius knocked on the door. Priscilla opened it, a look of shock on her face. "Dr. Vinicius." She was wearing simple clothes and looked like she had been crying. "Priscilla, may I come in? I need to talk to you." Her small house was modest but clean. Vinicius sat on the old sofa. "It's about Helena." "Is she okay?" Priscilla asked, concerned. "No." She stopped talking. Priscilla's eyes widened. "What do you mean?" "Ever since you left, she hasn't said a single word. Nothing. My God." "I took her to the doctor. He said it's emotional trauma." Vinicius took some papers from his pocket. "Look what she does all day Priscilla long." Saw the drawings, a house, a man, a woman and a child. "She's drawn 50 of them." Priscilla started to cry. "The poor thing. Priscilla, I was wrong about you." She looked at him in surprise. "You humiliated me in front of everyone." "I know. You called me a manipulator. It was unfair. You destroyed my reputation." Vinicius hung his head. "I was angry. I lost the meeting. I lost control. And now, why did you come here?" "Because my daughter is fading away. She won't eat. She won't play. What do you want from me?" "I want you to come back." Priscilla looked at him suspiciously. "As a cleaner again?" "No, as Helena's caregiver." "Ah, I see. Now that it serves your purposes, right?" Vinicius heard the hurt in her voice. "It's not like that, isn't it? When your daughter was happy calling me Mom, I was a manipulator. Now that she's sick, I'm the savior." "Priscilla, Dr. Vinicius, I am not a toy you can use whenever you please." "You're right. I was wrong." "Yes, you were, but Helena needs you." Priscilla sighed. As hurt as she was, she loved Helena. "Fine, but I have conditions." "What are they?" "I'm not an employee. I'm coming back as Helena's friend." "I agree. And if you disrespect me again, I'll leave and never come back." "Understood." When they arrived back at the mansion, Helena was in her room, drawing. She saw Priscilla, and her eyes lit up. "Hi, my love. I'm here." Helena ran and hugged her, but still remained silent. For the first week, Priscilla kept her distance from Vinicius. She cared for Helena, but treated him with a cold politeness. "Good morning, Dr. Vinicius." "Good morning. You can just call me Vinicius." "I prefer doctor." Physically, Helena improved. She started eating again, but she still wouldn't speak, answering everything with gestures. Cassandra watched everything with a scowl. "Vinicius, don't you think Helena is becoming too dependent on this woman?" "She's better, Mom, but she still won't talk. At least she's eating again." Priscilla overheard these conversations and felt a knot of tension in her stomach. She knew Cassandra disliked her. At the end of the first week, Helena had a crying fit in the middle of the night. Priscilla went to comfort her. "What is it, my love?" Helena gestured to her nightmare. "You dreamed that Mommy left again?" Helena nodded and hugged her tightly. Vinicius appeared at the bedroom door. "Is she okay?" "A nightmare. She's afraid I'll leave again." Are you going to leave?" Priscilla looked at him. "Depends on what? On whether you can help her get better." Vinicius moved closer. "Priscilla, about that day, I don't want to talk about it, but I need to apologize to you." "You already did." "Not properly. I treated you terribly." Priscilla continued to soothe Helena, stroking her hair. "Yes, you did. Please forgive me." "I don't know. It still hurts." Vinicius realized he had hurt her more deeply than he had imagined. During the second week, Helena began, in her own way, to bring Vinicius and Priscilla together. If one of them was on one side of the table, she would pull the other to sit closer. "I think she wants you two to get along," said Sueli, the nanny. Priscilla was still hurt, but she began to notice Vinicius's genuine efforts to be respectful. "Priscilla, would you like to have dinner in the dining room tonight?" "No, in Helena's room. Can I?" "Of course, you're not an employee here." It was the first time three of them had dinner at the main table. Helena was overjoyed, but Cassandra was not pleased. "Vinicius, don't you think this is strange?" "What, Mom?" "Her having dinner at our table." "Why would that be strange?" Well, she's what? Cassandra couldn't bring herself to say poor in front of Helena. Nothing. Priscilla felt the tension and embarrassment. Dr. Vinicius, if Mrs. Cassandra prefers, I can have dinner in Helena's room. No, you will have dinner here. Cassandra left the table in a huff. After dinner, Vinicius and Priscilla stayed in the living room while Helena played. I'm sorry about my mother. It's okay, I understand. You understand what? That it's difficult for her to accept someone like me in this house. Someone like you, poor, uneducated, a cleaning lady. Vinicius looked uncomfortable. Priscilla, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter? It does, doesn't it? He hesitated for a second, and she noticed. See? It does matter. It's not. It is. You're ashamed of me. I am not. You are. That's why you fired me in front of the Japanese investors. Vinicius was speechless. She was right. Priscilla, it's okay, doctor. I know my place. She stood up to leave. Wait. What? You're right. I was ashamed that day. Priscilla stopped and turned around. I was ashamed because I care too much about what other people think. Now I know I was an idiot. Helena chose you as her mother, and she's smarter than me. Priscilla sat back down. Doctor, Vinicius. Just Vinicius, please. Vinicius, I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I don't feel sorry. I feel admiration. Admiration? You take care of Helena better than any high-priced nanny I've ever hired. It's my job. It's not a job. It's love. Priscilla was moved. It is. I love her as if she were my own daughter. And that's beautiful. Helena came running and hugged both of them, her face beaming with joy at seeing them talk so nicely. But Cassandra was watching from the stairs, and she did not like what she saw. In the third week, Helena was much better. She played in the garden, smiled more often, but still wouldn't talk. Priscilla and Vinicius were slowly getting closer. One afternoon, while Helena was playing in the hallway, she overheard her grandma talking loudly in the library. I can't do this anymore. Helena crept closer to the door. Mrs. Cassandra, calm down, said Uncle Rogerio. How can I be calm? They are getting closer every day. Helena heard them and knew they were talking about her daddy and mommy. But that's a good thing for Vinicius. Good for who? He's happier now. What about me? What about Helena? Helena heard her name and listened more closely. Helena is better too. She's better for now. But what about when this woman gets tired of pretending? Pretending what? That she loves Helena? She just wants Vinicius's money. Helena was confused. Was her mommy pretending to love her? Mrs. Cassandra, she seems genuine. She seems like it. They all do. Cassandra paced back and forth. Rogerio, you don't know what it's like to lose a daughter. I know you've suffered greatly. Helena is all I have left of my daughter. I can't let a stranger take my place. Helena didn't understand the phrase, take my place. But she knew her grandma was mad at her mommy. What do you want me to do? What we talked about. It's the only way. It's too risky. If it goes wrong, you'll take care of it. You always have. Helena heard footsteps and ran back to her room. Her heart was pounding. Grandma and Uncle Rogerio were going to do something bad to her mommy. She grabbed paper and a pencil. She drew her grandma with an angry face, pointing at her mommy. She drew Uncle Rogerio with a mean face too. She wanted so badly to speak. She wanted to run to her daddy and scream, "They're going to hurt mommy." But the words wouldn't come out. They had disappeared when her mommy left the first time. Helena drew danger in every way. She could imagine. But how could she show someone without speaking? In the fourth week, things changed between Vinicius and Priscilla. He began to treat her with more affection. Priscilla, would you like to go out for dinner tonight? The three of us? Out? Yes, to a nice restaurant? Priscilla felt insecure. I don't have clothes for that. It doesn't matter. You're beautiful just the way you are. Dr. Vinicius? Just Vinicius. Vinicius, are you sure? People will stare. Let them stare. Things? What things? That you're going out with your ex-housekeeper? Vinicius paused. Priscilla was right. People would judge. You know what? To hell with what people think. Vinicius, be serious. Helena chose you, and I'm starting to understand why. Why? Because you're special. Priscilla smiled shyly. It was the first time she had smiled at him since she came back. So, will you go out to dinner with me? I will. Helena was ecstatic. She chose her prettiest dress and stuck close to the two of them at the restaurant. People did stare. A rich man with a simple woman and a child. Priscilla felt uncomfortable. Vinicius, everyone is looking. Don't mind them. It's hard not to. Why? Because I know I don't belong in your world. Vinicius stopped eating. Priscilla, look at me. She looked up. You belong wherever Helena wants you to belong, and she wants you here. And you? Vinicius hesitated. The question caught him by surprise. I want you here, too. Helena clapped her hands silently, happy to see them talking so well. They returned home closer than ever, but Cassandra was waiting for them in the living room. Where have you been? Out for dinner, said Vinicius. The three of you? The three of us. Cassandra looked Priscilla up and down with disapproval. I see. The atmosphere grew heavy. Priscilla felt judged. I'll take Helena up for her bath. After they went upstairs, Cassandra erupted. Vinicius, what are you doing? Taking care of my daughter. Taking a cleaner out to dinner. Ex-cleaner. And she takes better care of Helena than anyone else ever has. She's not from our social class. How can you say, so what? You're a Tavares. You have responsibilities. My only responsibility is to Helena and myself. I am your mother. Mom, you will always have a place in this house. Not if I have to share it with a stranger. Vinicius was irritated. She's not a stranger. Helena loves her. Helena is a child. She doesn't know what she wants. Yes, she does, and she chose Priscilla. Cassandra stormed off to her room and called Rogerio. He's hopelessly in love. Mrs. Cassandra, he took her out to dinner in public. Maybe it's just gratitude. It's not gratitude. I saw the way he looks at her. What do you want me to do? What we planned. First thing tomorrow morning. Are you absolutely sure? Either I end this story now, or I lose my granddaughter forever. What about the money? They won't. Find out we tampered with Helena's account. He's too distracted by this woman. Then tomorrow. Helena was in the next room pretending to sleep, but she heard everything through the thin wall. She didn't understand account or money, but she knew they were going to do something very bad to her mommy. Her little heart raced. She wanted to run to her daddy and warn him. But how? The words remained trapped in her throat. Helena took her paper and pencil from under the bed. She drew. Her grandma and Uncle Rogerio with malicious expressions. She drew her mommy crying. She drew danger. But she knew her daddy wouldn't understand from drawings alone. She had to speak. She had to find her voice before it was too late. Helena spent the entire night trying to whisper "Daddy," but nothing came out. It was as if the words were afraid to leave her lips. In the next room, Priscilla slept soundly, unaware that her life was about to be turned upside down. And downstairs, Cassandra finalized the details of a plan that would, she hoped, separate the two people Helena loved most in the world forever. It was a Thursday morning when Cassandra put her plan into action. Helena was eating breakfast with Priscilla and Vinicius. The girl still wasn't speaking, but she was much happier. Suddenly the doorbell rang. Sueli, the nanny, went to answer it and came back with a worried look. Dr. Vinicius, there are 2 police officers at the door. Police? What do they want? They said, it's about a complaint. Vinicius was confused. What complaint? The two officers entered the living room. Detective Marcelo Silva showed an official paper. "Good morning. We're here because of a theft complaint." "Theft here?" "That's right. We have information that an employee was stealing valuable items." Helena stopped eating and paid close attention. The police meant serious trouble. Rogerio appeared in the living room as if he had just arrived, but Helena knew he had been in the house since early that morning. "Ah, good thing you got here quickly." "Rogerio, did you call the police?" "Unfortunately, yes. I discovered something very serious, Vinicius." Rogerio opened his briefcase and pulled out some papers. "I found these receipts in the office. Your employee was selling pieces from the house on the internet." Priscilla went pale. "Which employee?" "This woman!" Rogerio pointed directly at her. "That's a lie. I never sold anything." The detective took the papers and examined them. "According to these documents, you sold several valuable pieces of jewelry in the last 2 months." "I don't even know what those receipts are. I've never seen them in my life." Vinicius took the papers from the detective's hands. They looked official, with stamps and signatures. "Rogerio, this doesn't make sense. Priscilla is completely trustworthy." "I know it's hard to accept, Vinicius, but the evidence is here." At that moment, Cassandra appeared, putting on a perfect show of dismay. "Oh my God, I knew something was wrong." "You knew what, Mom?" "My daughter's diamond ring disappeared about 3 weeks ago. I thought I had just misplaced it somewhere in the house, but—" "What ring?" "The one she loved to wear the most. Her engagement ring. I searched the entire house." Helena listened, her eyes wide with fear. She knew her grandma was lying. The detective turned to Priscilla. "Ma'am, we're going to need to search your belongings." He explained that a search was standard procedure in cases of domestic theft. Helena stood up from the table, nervous. They were going to go through her mommy's things. She wanted to speak, to scream that it was all a lie, but the words were still gone. "Where is her room?" the officer asked. "In the back of the house," said Cassandra. Everyone went to the small staff quarters. Helena followed, clinging to Priscilla's skirt. The detective and the other officer began to search carefully, opening drawers and looking in the small closet. "You won't find anything," Priscilla said, her voice trembling, "because I haven't stolen a single thing." Vinicius held her hand. "I believe you. This must be some kind of misunderstanding." Cassandra and Rogerio exchanged a quick, knowing look. The plan was working perfectly. The officer began searching under the bed, and suddenly he stopped. "I found something here." Priscilla's heart nearly stopped. The officer pulled a small velvet box from under the mattress. "What is this?" Cassandra gasped, feigning a huge shock. "My God, it's my daughter's jewelry box." She opened the box with shaky hands. Inside were several valuable jewels, including the famous diamond ring. "I didn't put that there," Priscilla screamed in desperation. "Someone planted those things in my room." "That's what every thief says," the detective said, already reaching for his handcuffs. Vinicius was in total shock. The evidence was overwhelming, but his heart told him Priscilla would never do such a thing. "Priscilla, look at me. Vinicius, I swear on Helena's life that I didn't steal these things." Helena watched, terrified. The officer was about to handcuff her mommy. She tried to open her mouth to scream, but nothing came out. Her silence was complete. Helena ran to her room and came back with a paper in her hand. She was breathless and desperate. She showed the drawing to the detective. It was a picture of a man placing a small box under a bed. "Little girl, what is this drawing?" Helena pointed to the drawing, then pointed to Rogerio, then to the jewelry box. She did this several times, trying to explain. "She's trying to tell us something," Vinicius said. Helena began to make frantic gestures, showing someone bending down and hiding something under the bed. "Helena, did you see someone in this room?" Helena nodded her head very hard. "When was this?" Helena held up one finger. "1 day ago." Helena nodded again. "Last night?" Helena nodded again. "Who did you see?" Helena pointed directly at Rogerio. "She's pointing at me," Rogerio said, his voice cracking with nervousness. "This is absurd." Helena nodded, looking him straight in the eyes. "People, let's not listen to this," Cassandra quickly interrupted. "Helena hasn't spoken for over a month. She's confused, traumatized. But she seems very sure of what she saw," the detective said. "Traumatized children often invent stories," Rogerio said, sweating slightly. Helena, frustrated, ran to her grandma's room and came back with a crumpled envelope. Inside was a piece of paper with handwriting on it. It was a rough draft of the fake receipts, with Rogerio's distinct penmanship. "Where did you find this, little girl?" Helena pointed to Cassandra's room. The detective took the paper and compared it to the receipts from the complaint. "Mr. Rogerio, this handwriting is identical to the one on the receipts." I don't know how that paper got there," Rogerio stammered. "Rogerio, that's your handwriting," Vinicius said. His eyes narrowed with suspicion. "I recognize it perfectly. I've been seeing you write contracts for 15 years. Helena stood in front of Priscilla like a protective shield. She pointed to her and shook her head. "Yes, yes, yes. Good person." Then she pointed to the villains and shook her head. "No, no, no. Bad people." "She's saying that you two lied about Priscilla," Vinicius interpreted. Helena then ran to a bookshelf in the library and showed a hole behind some thick books. "What's in there, little girl?" Helena gestured that the jewels were hidden there before. The detective checked the hiding place and found a few more valuable jewels. "Were there more things here?" Helena confirmed with a nod. "And how do you know all this?" Helena took a deep breath. She had to try to speak. For the first time in over a month, she forced her voice out. Only a faint whisper emerged. "I saw." Everyone fell into complete silence. Helena had said a word. "What did you see, honey?" The detective asked gently. "I saw him take them." The words came out with great effort, but they were there. "Who did you see?" Helena pointed at Rogerio with determination. "Uncle Rogerio took them from here and put them where?" "In Mommy's room." Each word was a battle, but Helena was speaking again. The detective looked at the two suspects. "The evidence is turning against you." The detective was putting all the pieces of the puzzle together: Helena's drawings, the paper with Rogerio's handwriting, the jewels in the secret hiding place. "Mr. Rogerio, we're going to need to examine your fingerprints on these jewels." "Of course, my fingerprints will be on them. I've handled objects in this house for years." "But you shouldn't have been handling the personal jewelry of the deceased wife." Helena managed to whisper a little more clearly. "He talked to Grandma." "What did they talk about?" "They wanted to hurt Mommy." "Helena, are you sure about this?" "I heard them talking when they were hiding." Vinicius knelt down to his daughter's height. "Honey, try to tell me what else you heard." Helena thought carefully before answering. "They don't like Mommy." "Why?" "Grandma was crying and talking about Mommy Leticia." It was the first time Helena had spoken her biological mother's name since she had gone mute. "What did she say about Mommy Leticia?" "That nobody could take her place." Vinicius finally understood what was happening. His mother-in-law had never gotten over her. "In daughter's death, Mom, is this true? You couldn't accept that I could love someone else?" Cassandra began to cry, this time for real. "She was my only daughter, Vinicius. I know you suffered a lot. You don't understand anything. Helena is all I have left of my daughter." Helena managed to speak a little more clearly. "Grandma, why don't you like Mommy Priscilla?" "Helena, Grandma loves you very much." "Then why did you want her to go away?" Cassandra couldn't answer. She just kept crying. At that moment, the other officer, who had been examining the evidence, approached the detective. "The fingerprints on the jewels belong to the lawyer, not the woman." "Are you sure?" "Absolutely. And there's more. I found fabric fibers in the box that don't match any of her clothes. The detective turned to Rogerio. Sir, you'll need to come with us to the police station. Wait, I can explain all this. You can explain at the station. Helena managed to shout, though still softly. Take them away. Everyone turned to her. Helena had spoken an almost complete sentence. They are bad. They wanted to separate me from Mommy. Priscilla rushed to hug Helena. My love, you can talk. I can. Mommy, my voice came back to protect you. While the detective prepared the paperwork to take Rogerio and Cassandra away, Helena finally managed to tell them everything she knew. Daddy, they were always talking secretly. What were they talking about, honey? That Mommy just wanted your money. Did they say anything else? Helena looked at Cassandra with a sad expression. Grandma was crying. Why? Because Mommy Leticia died. And what? And she didn't want me to call another person Mom. Vinicius finally understood the full extent of his mother-in-law's problem. Mom, did you really think Priscilla would make Helena forget about Leticia? I don't want my granddaughter to forget her own mother. Helena approached her grandmother, still speaking slowly. Grandma, I didn't forget Mommy Leticia. She's in heaven taking care of me. And Priscilla, Mommy Priscilla takes care of me here on earth. Cassandra was beginning to understand what her granddaughter was saying. Helena, I can have two mothers, Grandma, one in heaven and one here. But I thought you can be my grandma and like Mommy Priscilla too. Cassandra looked at Priscilla for the first time with new eyes. Will you really take good care of Helena? I will take care of her as if she were my own daughter. You promise. I promise, with all my heart. The detective interrupted the conversation. Mrs. Cassandra, you'll still have to come with us to give a statement. Why Grandma too? Helena asked, her voice a little stronger now. Because she helped to create lies about your mommy, Vinicius explained gently. Grandma, why did you do that? Cassandra couldn't give an answer that made sense. She just cried more. Helena waved to her. Bye, Grandma. When you get out, you can come back if you promise to. Be good to Mommy. The police took Cassandra and Rogerio away. Helena waved from the window, still feeling a bit of pity for her grandmother. After they were gone, Helena hugged Priscilla and Vinicius at the same time. Now it's just the three of us. It is, honey, Vinicius said. Forever. Vinicius looked at Priscilla. If Mommy wants to stay with us? I want to very much, Priscilla said. Helena smiled, still speaking slowly but with joy. Then now we are a real family. In the following days, they had to deal with a lot of paperwork. An accountant came to examine all the family's finances. Helena's speech improved day by day, and most importantly, they were becoming a real family, chosen by love. But they still had to officially resolve Cassandra and Rogerio's situation, and Helena still needed time to fully recover from the trauma of almost losing the person she loved most in the world. 2 weeks passed since Cassandra and Rogerio's arrest. Helena's speech was getting better every day, but it wasn't back to normal. Some words came easily, others she struggled to get out. She woke up every night from nightmares and ran to Priscilla's room. Mommy, I dreamed you left again. It was just a nightmare, my love. I'm right here beside you. Promise you won't leave me alone. I promise. I'll never leave you again. During the day, Helena was better, but sometimes she would suddenly become quiet, looking at the door with fear in her eyes. Daddy, is Grandma coming back home? No, honey. She's in jail, and when she gets out, it will be a long time from now. How long? A few years. Helena felt a little more relieved, but the fear still lingered in her eyes. That week, the accountant Vinicius had hired arrived to examine all the accounts. He spent 3 full days going back and forth with papers. Mr. Vinicius, I discovered something very serious. What is it? $420,000 were diverted from Helena's account over the last 2 years. Vinicius almost fainted. How much? 420,000. Small transfers every month, very well disguised. How did I not notice this? Because you trusted your lawyer, and the amounts were small, $5,000 to $8,000 at a time. Priscilla listened, astonished. My God, that's a lot of money. It's Helena's future they stole, Vinicius said angrily. Helena, who was playing nearby, asked, Daddy, did they take my money? They did, honey. How much money? Vinicius didn't know how to explain it to a child. Money that was yours. Are they thieves? Yes, real thieves. Helena became thoughtful. Why did Grandma do that to me? I don't know, Helena. Sometimes people do wrong things when they are very afraid. Afraid of what? Afraid of losing someone they love. Helena understood a little. Like when I went quiet because I was afraid Mommy would leave. Exactly. But Grandma did much worse things. During that week, Helena had several emotional breakdowns. One day she was playing and suddenly started crying. What is it, my love? Priscilla asked. I'm afraid you'll change your mind about me. Why would I change my mind? Because maybe I'm too much work for you. Priscilla hugged her tightly. Helena, I chose to be your mother. Real mothers don't give up on their children. Ever. Not even when they're a lot of work. And if I get sick, I'll take care of you. And if I do something wrong, I'll teach you what's right. And if I cry a lot, I'll comfort you. Helena smiled for the first time that week. So you're really my mom. I'm your mom in my heart, and that's forever. A month after the arrest, things were very different at the mansion. Helena could already speak in full sentences, but she still stuttered when she got nervous. Vinicius and Priscilla were getting closer, but he was still processing all the betrayal he had suffered. Priscilla, can I ask you a question? Of course. How are you? Feeling after all this? I'm still trying to understand. Understand what? How people I knew could have planned to destroy me. Vinicius sighed. It's frightening, isn't it? You know what hurts the most? What? To think that if Helena hadn't defended me, I would be in jail. But she did defend you, and you're here. What if she hadn't been able to speak? Vinicius took her hand. Don't think about that. The important thing is that everything worked out. Did it? Why do you ask it? Like that? Priscilla hesitated before answering. Sometimes I'm afraid you'll change your mind about me. Why? Because I really am just an ex-housekeeper, Vinicius, and you're a rich businessman. Priscilla, your family will always see me that way. Your friends too. What? What do you mean, so what? Doesn't that bother you? Vinicius thought for a moment before answering. It did bother me. I won't lie to you. And now I've learned something. What? That Helena is smarter than... How so? She chose you as her mother on day one. It took me months to understand why. And why was that? Because you have something money can't buy. What's that? A good heart. Priscilla was moved. Vinicius, Priscilla, I've fallen in love with you. Her eyes widened. How? I've truly fallen in love. It's not gratitude, it's love. Are you sure? Absolutely. And do you feel anything for me? Priscilla blushed. Yes, I do. What? I've fallen in love with you too, but I'm very scared. Scared of what? Of not being good enough for you and Helena. You are more than enough. You are perfect for us. At that moment, Helena appeared, running. What are you talking about? Important things, said Vinicius. What kind of things? Helena, would you like it if Priscilla and I were to date? Helena nearly jumped for joy. Would. And then you would get married. And you want us to get married? Of course. I've always wanted to have a mom and a dad. Vinicius looked at Priscilla. So, will you date me? I will. Helena ran and hugged both of them. Now we're an official family. In the following weeks, they got used to the new situation. Helena improved every day. Vinicius and Priscilla were truly dating, but there was still one important thing to resolve. 3 months after the arrest, the day of the trial arrived. Vinicius went to the courthouse with Priscilla and Helena. Helena was nervous. "Daddy, is it going to be scary?" "No, honey. You're just going to tell the truth." "What if I forget the word?" "You won't forget. You're speaking so well now." "And what if I get scared?" "Mommy and I will be right by your side." At the trial, Helena told everything she'd seen and heard. She spoke simply, but very clearly. "I saw Uncle Rogerio putting the jewels in Mommy Priscilla's room." "Are you sure of what you saw?" "I am. And I heard them talking about hurting her." "What else did you hear?" "That they took my money, but I didn't understand that part very well." "Anything else?" "That Grandma didn't want me to like Mommy Priscilla." The judge was very clear in his sentence. Rogerio was sentenced to 4 years in prison and had to return all the stolen money. Cassandra received 2 years of probation. She wouldn't go to jail, but she was forbidden from coming near the family for 2 years. When they left the courthouse, Cassandra was waiting at the door. Helena hid behind Priscilla. "I don't want to talk to her." "Why not, honey?" Vinicius asked. "I'm still scared." Cassandra looked sad, seeing her granddaughter's reaction. "Helena, Grandma won't hurt you." "But you hurt Mommy." "I did, and I regret it very much." Helena looked at Priscilla. "Mommy, can I talk to her?" "If you want to. You don't have to force your—" Helena approached her grandmother, but kept her distance. "Grandma, why did you do those bad things?" "Because I missed your mother, Letitia, so much." "I miss her too." "You do?" "Yes, but that doesn't mean I can't like Mommy Priscilla." "How so?" "I can have 2 mothers. Mommy Letitia takes care of me from heaven. Mommy Priscilla takes care of me here on earth." Cassandra was finally beginning to understand. "Helena, you can be my grandma, and like both mothers. You can, but only if you promise to be good to Mommy Priscilla. You really promise? You won't try to separate us anymore?" "I promise I won't." Helena thought for a while before speaking. "Then I forgive you. But just a little bit." "A little bit?" "Yes. You'll still have to prove you've changed." "How do I prove it?" "By always being good to Mommy." Helena gave her grandmother a quick hug and went back to Priscilla. "Goodbye, Grandma. When you learn to be truly good, you can come back." 6 months later, the most anticipated day of all arrived. Vinicius proposed to Priscilla one Sunday afternoon in the garden of the house. "Priscilla, will you marry me?" "Seriously?" "Seriously. Will you be my wife and Helena's official mother?" "Vinicius, have you thought this through? Are you sure?" "I've never been so sure of anything in my life." Helena, who had been hiding behind a tree, couldn't contain herself. "Say yes, Mommy. Say yes." Everyone laughed. "Helena, were you listening?" "I was, and I really want you to get married." "So, Priscilla?" "Of course I accept." Helena came running out from behind the tree. "Can I be the flower girl?" "You can." "And can I choose the color of my dress?" "You can choose." "And can I help make the cake?" "Helena, calm down." Vinicius laughed. "You can help with every—" 3 months later, the big day arrived. The church was decorated with white and pink flowers. Helena looked beautiful in a pink flower girl dress. "Mommy, I'm so nervous." "Why?" "What if I trip when I walk in?" "You won't trip. You've practiced 1,000 times." "What if I drop the flowers?" "If you drop them, we'll pick them up from the floor." "What if—" "Helena, everything is going to be okay. I promise." When it was time, Helena entered the church first, throwing the rose petals perfectly without tripping once. Then Priscilla entered, walking slowly down the aisle. Vinicius was waiting at the altar. When he saw her as a bride, He couldn't hold back his tears. "Daddy is crying," Helena shouted to the entire church. Everyone laughed and applauded. When Priscilla reached him, Vinicius whispered, "You are the most beautiful woman in the world." "Thank you." The priest began the ceremony. "We are gathered here to celebrate the marriage of Vinicius and Priscilla." Helena stood radiant beside them. "Vinicius, do you accept Priscilla as your wife?" "I do." "Priscilla, do you accept Vinicius as your husband?" "I do." "If anyone has any objection to this union, speak now or—" Helena couldn't help herself and shouted, "I support it. Mommy deserves to be very happy." The entire church erupted in laughter and applause. "Helena," Vinicius said, laughing, "sorry, Daddy, but I really do support it." The priest smiled. "Well, it seems we have full approval. I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride." Vinicius kissed Priscilla, while Helena cheered and everyone cried with emotion. At the reception, Helena grabbed the microphone and gave a speech. "Everyone, I want to say something very important." Everyone stopped to listen. "My mommy Priscilla used to work as a cleaner here at home. But you know something? She has the cleanest heart in the world." The crowd applauded. "And my daddy learned that having money isn't more important than having love." More applause. "Now we are the happiest family in the universe." When it was time to cut the cake, Helena asked, "Can I cut it with you?" "Of course you can." The three of them cut the cake together like a real family. Priscilla looked at a photo of Vinicius's first wife that was on the head table. "Thank you, Leticia, for taking care of them until I got here." Helena heard her. Is Mommy Leticia happy in heaven?" "I'm sure she is because you are happy." "So she likes you?" "So." "I think so too, because she sent you to us." That night in their room, Vinicius and Priscilla talked in hushed tone. "Can you believe we're married? Sometimes it still feels like a dream." "It's not a dream. It's our new life." "Vinicius, thank you for everything." "Thank you for what?" "For giving me a real family. Thank you for accepting us." From the next room, Helena shouted, "Stop talking. I want to go for a walk with my two parents tomorrow." The two of them laughed. "She said two parents. Did you hear that? Now she has a real mom and a dad. Good night, family." "Good night, Helena." Helena smiled to herself in bed. She had finally gotten the family she had always drawn on paper. A daddy, a mommy, and her, all together forever. The girl who had been silenced by sadness now spoke all the time out of pure joy. The housekeeper who was humiliated for love became a wife and a mother, and the man who almost lost everything because of pride learned that a family is chosen with the heart. Helena never had to be silent again. She now had a family that listened to her and would never be separated. And every night before falling asleep, she would whisper, "Thank you, Mommy Leticia, for sending us, Mommy Priscilla. The two of you worked together so I could have the most perfect family in the world." Because Helena knew that true love always finds a way to win. Thank you for watching. May this story inspire your day. Like, share, and stay tuned for more.